We are making our very own whiskey, doing our own blend. We got all of these from Kansas, and we had to try through every single one of them.
Keep going down.
You've taken a full 750 milliliter bottle out of this blend. Let's see what's going on with our barrels of beer over here.
That's fantastic.
That is the most special. Today is my first official day working at a distillery. And by working, I mean watching people who know what they're doing and trying to stay out of their way. But we are making our very own whiskey, doing our own blend, and we've got a lot of barrels we've got to dump. I don't know what this is gonna look like. I do know what it's gonna taste like though, because me and J-Rock over here have been doing blends all night. We drank way too much whiskey. I mean, you can see all of these barrels right here are barrels that we bought from Wheat State Distilling. So we got all of these from Kansas, unloaded them right here, pulled samples, and we had to try through every single one of them to find out what would work in our blend. Now we've got a base. This blend we're doing was supposed to be a celebration of all of our favorite craft distilleries. And we reached out to most of those craft distilleries and said, can we buy barrels from you? And most of them said, yes, absolutely, you can buy barrels from us. And we were excited, and we were trying to plan for that, and we were gonna do a blend of those. And then they gave me the prices of those barrels. And so they said no without saying no. But Old Dominic did come through for us. We have 3 Tennessee whiskeys. This is a low rye bourbon. And then on the other side over there, we also have 3 of their high rye bourbons. That is a base. And then we're gonna blend in a couple of these barrels from Wheat State. Not all of these barrels are good whiskey, unfortunately. They're drinkable, but a lot of them are dusty craft whiskey. We don't want a dusty craft release, so we've been pretty selective here. We're gonna take this base, we're gonna blend a couple of those in. We're gonna see how it comes out. And this right here is the gentleman that's gonna be doing all the actual work. Y'all have probably seen the big Kentucky distilleries dump barrels of whiskey. They've got a little trough they roll it on, all sophisticated and everything. But when you are a small craft producer, you gotta do it the way you gotta do it. And sometimes that is just put it on a forklift and pull the bung out. Technically, what is your role here?
I am the head distiller.
What does a head distiller do?
A head distiller makes all the alcohol. The master distiller makes all the recipes. So the master distiller here comes up with the recipes, and then I reproduce them.
So he does paperwork, and you do actual work.
I'm not able to speak on that fact.
So if you haven't caught on, we're actually at John Emerald Distillery here. They're helping us out with this blend because the government likes for you to have licenses and things, and we don't have those. And we ended up here. Luckily, John Emerald, great distillery right here in my hometown, made it super easy for us. Tell us a little bit about John Emerald.
So me and my dad started the distillery we're about 10 years old now. We do a wide range of products. Started with the single malt whiskey. That's kind of our main. I trained to distill in Scotland, so single malt's where I kind of cut my teeth, and so we started with that. And we've got some bourbons and things in the mix that we're about a couple years out on. We're excited about, but we've got we do some rums and a lot of different things, and everything we do is a ground to glass concept. So we're going straight to the farms all the way to the bottle. Pretty much everything we make now, with the exception of we make a little bit of agave spirit. We don't get that straight from. We don't have any agave farms close by. So
10 years. You were doing it before it was cool.
I think so. Yeah, I like to think that. Yeah, we started. We looked at me and my dad about opening a brewery at the time. We thought we were a little late to the game on a brewery, and reality, we were probably a little late to the game on a distillery, honestly. But it just seemed like the distilling was where the trend was going, and then I was, as a consumer, was more interested in spirits than I was beer anyways, so it just made it made good sense to go ahead and pull the trigger on a distillery. We named it John Emerald after my grandfather, and then a lot of our products are named after ancestors, kind of theming around our family. And me and my wife run the place predominantly now. My dad still works, but just when he feels like it.
You stealing some of my juice? This is the high rye Old Dominic barrel, one of them.
A little bit of sweetness on that, I think.
That's delicious.
Are you getting any char?
Oh, I'm sure we're getting char in there.
Yeah, but your plan is to filter it again.
Sure, yeah, we'll definitely filter it, debris filter it wise. I was talking to him briefly about DE filters to get kind of like the cut off of there, that like acidic flavor off.
We may try a little bit just to see. These barrels, I don't think have that problem. Okay. Some of those Wheat States have a little harshness. I think we've picked some that don't necessarily, but let's just see how it tastes when they're together. All right, that barrel is just draining. It takes its sweet time. We're gonna look at some of these wheat states. There's some weird stuff in here. Most of these barrels are 6 to 8 years old. There's a couple of 10-year-olds here, and so there's tags on them. So BBBW is what they called their bourbon. So it's like Bella something bourbon whiskey. So you'll see a lot of that. There's some 100% corn right here that's 6 years old. 30-gallon barrels on these. There are some 53-gallon barrels. Those are already racked up over there. You've got some weird stuff. Let's see if we can find some of the strange stuff. I know there's some 100% wheats in here. Well, there's a little barrel-aged gin resting right here. This one is popcorn whiskey. Actually, this is one of the better barrels. Right here is this popcorn. 100% corn bourbon right there. No idea what Bob's Booze is, but there it is right there. There's some sorghum whiskey here as well. I think these barrels that were being sampled here are sorghum whiskey. You need help?
No.
So it keeps in shape.
I don't feel like paying for my Planet Fitness.
What should we do with these empty barrels, J-Ron?
Well, I was talking to Jimmy there. Maybe he could put some single malt in one of these.
You think we should do an infinity barrel?
Might as well.
It's top bung. It's perfect for an infinity
Oh,
barrel.
absolutely it is, yeah.
Thinking about taking one of these to the house, and every time we have a barrel pick sample or something like that that doesn't get finished, it goes in here. When people come over, they can dump a bottle in, take a bottle out. Hey, let me holler at you for just a minute. I know the holidays are coming up, and you're probably looking for the perfect gift for that whiskey lover in your life. Now, what if I told you I had the perfect gift, plus you could save $100? And that's because Original Grain is running a $100 off Black Friday sale, but if you use code Brewzle, you could save an additional 10%. Original Grain's handcrafted watches are the perfect statement piece for lovers of whiskey, beer, guitars, even ammo crates. The coolest thing about these watches is that each piece is unique, making it the perfect gift for your loved one. Now, you know this is a whiskey channel. Whiskey is what we do. So when I learned about the partnership between Original Grain and Jack Daniels, I was extremely interested. I mean, Jack Daniels is one of my favorite whiskeys on the entire planet. The 10, the 12, the Coy Hill, like Jack Daniels makes good stuff. And these awesome timepieces capture the rugged and sophisticated nature of Jack Daniels. They're handcrafted using authentic Jack Daniels barrels. Now, one of their new styles is the Jack Daniels Rugged, which is 44 millimeters and features a flame-charred oak finish, automatic movement, with a skeleton dial. Original Grain is a veteran and family-owned business that has been making watches for over 11 years. The craftsmanship and the uniqueness of their designs is what truly makes them stand out. And they have a huge selection, so I know you'll be able to find that perfect gift for your loved one. And starting November 26th, you can save $100 off with their Black Friday sale. But don't forget to use code Brewzle and save an additional 10%. I think it's time to get back to that video. Just the Tennessee whiskey?
This is barrel 3.
No, it's the third of the high rye. What do you think?
Man, golly.
You're an old Dominic Homer. You're wearing the shirt even. Well, you're working for them now. Of course you like it.
I mean, yeah.
I'll be the judge of this. Oh yeah, that's better than the last one. Let me know your thoughts on that.
Is that rye? It kind of tastes
It's
like
a high rye bourbon.
but it's very smooth,
Oh, absolutely.
and it doesn't have that super peppery taste. So that's pretty smooth. How old are these barrels? Do we know?
I think these are 6-year-olds. I think everything we're putting in it is at least 6, but let me check that. This one is 2017, so
This is almost
December, almost 7 years old right here. So almost 7 years old. And these are the youngest things going in there, I believe. And these are the wheat states we're going to blend in right here. These have a very interesting dark fruit flavor to them. We were doing some of the blends. Some of the blends have very interesting, like Weller notes to them. Not quite to that sophistication. Let's not get out of hand. We're not saying this is a Weller killer. I know somebody will, every time you put out a fruit flavored weeder, somebody says it's a Weller killer. Not that. They add a little malty flavor as well. There is a little bit of a harshness on the finish of these straight up by themselves, but you know, they're such a small percentage of the overall blend that we expect that to kind of round out a little bit. And in our blending at home, it did round out. How would you rate the blend that we were trying? The one that we're putting together right here, our samples.
Our sample is crudely, I'd say 7.5 to 8 out of 10.
First try, using some crafty stuff. I think that's pretty good. And obviously, special shout out to old Dominic for hooking us up with these barrels. They didn't have to, and They don't usually sell barrels as with a lot of these craft distilleries, but they were willing to, look at what the market is actually at for barrels of whiskey and work with me on a price where we could make this happen. And honestly, without their whiskey, a known commodity, like a known fantastic whiskey to use as a base for this blend, it would have been hard for us to get this level of yield, and definitely hard for us to get this kind of yield with this kind of quality, because a lot of these barrels that we picked up from Wheat State are going to require more aging, more finishing. We may have to try to put them in a little different oak. I think the oak is part of why they've got that dusty flavor. So it might be years before we get rid of a lot of these, because we're going to continue to try to improve them and make them better before we release them onto the market. Barrel number 4 going in right there. I'm going to show you around a small distillery here. You can see like they barely got room, so they got to organize all these outside before they go in. They got a corn delivery. This is how they get their corn, right? No bins as of yet, so they get what's called a super sack of corn right here. It looks like a mill over here to mill some of those grains. I think these tanks here are probably for red clay next door. I think these are their old brewing tanks. I'm gonna show you also some of the other goodies that we got that I haven't shown you yet thus far, because over here we've got some totes. That is a barrel rested gin. So we have 250 gallons of 99 proof barrel rested gin. And honestly, this is pretty freaking good. Like, this is actually really good gin. There's a 90 proof bourbon over there, 80 proof whiskey. I don't know what it means when it just says whiskey. I got to try to get some clarification. There's more barrel rested gin down there, just a little bit of rum, and then a whole tote of neutral grain spirits down here on the bottom. Their distillation equipment, I'm not gonna go up there. They're bottling up there right now, but all their still and stuff is over here. We don't want to mess up their bottling operations. But as you can see, space is tight at a small distillery. One of the reasons we want to try to get out of town maybe a little bit, have a little more square footage, make our lives a little bit easier. Has a little bit of like a nuttiness to it. It's really nice. See, I told you I'm doing hard work today. Look at you. You look relaxed too.
Hey, just hanging out.
But other than that, this is...
Keep going down.
Got to sample each one, huh? You've taken a full 750 milliliter bottle out of this blend. Better than the last or not?
Actually, yeah.
A little more sweetness on that one.
Yes.
It's definitely done a little leak in there.
All right, so number 6, and then 128, 129.
Yep,
right?
these two right here laying on the side. This Old Dom blend of high rye and low rye bourbon, or Tennessee whiskey and high rye bourbon, is really, really good. Like, honestly, I'm surprised they don't have that into the market. It's really good by itself. Like, honestly, if we just blended those 6 barrels, it's fantastic. We've been blending all the samples at home and doing a bunch of different stuff with it, and it's great without doing anything else to it. I didn't want this just to be an Old Dominick blend. It was supposed to be at least 3 distilleries. It's going to be 2, but at least it's 3 mash bills from 2 distilleries. But do you think adding those Wheat States made it better, the same, or is it not as good?
I think it added a level of complexity to it that it improved the blend. It's different.
As always, a very political answer from J-Rock there. I appreciate it. You know, he can't say we just made it worse. Like, you can't say that. I don't think we made it worse, but we definitely made it different. We will see. We will determine once it's actually blended if we did indeed make it worse. Because I'll tell you, it could still be good. It could still be really good and worse than just the Old Dominick blend, because the Old Dominick blend's that good of a base. Last Old Dominick barrel going in right here.
A little candy in there too.
It's fiber. Don't say it's the best one. You can't just keep saying they keep getting better. Maybe you keep getting drunker, and so they're all getting better to you.
I've only had sips.
Okay, that probably is the best one out of these Tennessee whiskeys for sure, yeah. Like, the last one was sweeter. This one gets a little more dark fruit on it too there. Let's set that one off to the side. I'm probably gonna end up taking that one to the house for my infinity barrel. Dozens of sample bottles for barrel picks and different things that are gonna go in there to start seeding that barrel. And then when something eventually gets kicked off the bar, maybe it goes in, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. The problem is if you put bad whiskey in there, you're gonna get bad whiskey out. even if it continues to age. Do we just sit this outside and let it age out in the sun?
Set it out the back door.
Yeah.
Let it hang out.
See what happens. All right, J-Rock, what do you think? Smell like the right one?
Smells right.
Yep. Turn it
Got
on.
those dark fruits.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the right one. There's a patch through the mid 200s and a patch through the 120s, 130s where the barrels are pretty freaking good. You get off skew of those, like some of the earlier stuff, some of the later stuff have just a real dusty note. So there's a little patches of barrel numbers that are really good. I'm just a little cautious with these because he was here when we were popping them. Some of these are rough, so you have to be careful with them. I get a little dark fruit, like almost a raisin note on it.
I always say that the raisin comes with the rye, though.
It can, that's fair.
yeah.
All right, this is the last barrel for now. We're gonna see how the blend comes out. We might end up adding a little more. Look at there, he got stuck. That barrel too heavy for you?
That's all heads right there.
Yep.
This was better than the last one. Yeah. These were not the best barrels from the Wheat State stuff. We took the top two, slid those off to the side. Also, while we're here, J-Rock, we can go to Red Clay and see how the beers are doing.
We can do that.
We'll see if they're there. And they may have already kegged them up. I told them to go ahead and keg them whenever they were ready. We'll go see where the beers stand right now.
You want to come back to this?
No, go for it. Papa Sorghum. There goes the blend into storage. It's getting shook up a little bit right now. These, I'm hoping, these weird things like this, the hope is to single barrel those. That's different. That's unique. I think a lot of folks would like that. Still got a little of that craft dustiness on the finish, a little harshness on the finish. But other than that little bit of harshness on the finish, really fun and interesting. Oh, dude, try this with the water in it. All that harshness goes away. Yeah. Same thing, but now it's proofed down a little.
Yeah. That's good. That's real good.
J-Rock, destroyer of bungs.
That's gonna get a clip.
Yeah.
There's a clip in there, put it in.
Man, you really wrecking that bung.
Such a finesse.
Just wreck a bong.
That's a t-shirt, Bung Wreckers. I don't think we've tried this wheat whiskey yet. We tried the jar they had sitting on top of it, but that's been months ago. Man, handling bungs and cups.
That's some of that raisin I get on that.
That's what I say. That's that.
Dude,
rye.
I like this, though.
That raisin flavor.
I like this. Put a little water in there. What do you think, J-Rock?
I think that opens up a real nice sweetness on that with the water.
Dude, I like that.
That's good.
It's different. It is very, very different. Got a lot of those raisiny flavors on it, but I like that. You got it this time?
Maybe. Remember, I'm doing this with like 3.5 fingers.
Oh, don't be throwing your handicap up.
There it is.
That's the best thing I've had today.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not as robust as the things we've tried earlier, but it's more subtle. A lot of complexity on that.
Smells like brandy.
That's a single barrel for sure. You don't like it as much.
No,
Okay.
no. Just it's all spice.
I think there is a little bit of that funk on the finish.
That's a good.
That's not that my palate's getting a little more acclimated to. Are you going for the other 10 year?
Yeah.
Better than the last one, or no?
No, a little more floral on the finish of that. It's
You're right. Yeah, I remembered that one being better. It's good,
a lot of
but
floral.
it is definitely a little perfumey almost. Where you want to blend them?
yeah. Let me go. It's not as good as that one by itself, but blended, it really mutes that floral note. It's still there a little bit on the back end, and it really comes through like in my nose.
Nah, we can't do that together. That one's too good. Like, I don't want to make that barrel worse, right?
No,
We'll take that one, blend it into some stuff.
Yeah.
It has some good notes to it. It just gets a little perfumey. Here, you want it? Oh, you go proof it? That's smart. Seeing how these things seem to work great with proof.
Yeah, that's worse.
I don't know if that's worse than the blend at full proof, but it's definitely worse than that barrel by itself at full proof. Yeah, I think several of these 53s are pretty good. We know we've got several good ones in the 120s. I think it was it the 240s we found some interesting things as well.
Yeah.
So there's little caches of good whiskey, and then there's some just really crafty, dusty stuff. We're gonna have to figure out what we can do with that. to make that useful or good, or maybe we can't. I don't, that's fine too. We got a pretty good deal on these barrels, and we got a whole distillery worth of equipment. So we're not, we're in good shape as far as finding good whiskey here and getting a return on our investment of this inventory. But, the better the whiskey, the more cool things we can do with it, the better, the more fun it is at least. Let me know down in the comments, if we've got a really dusty craft whiskey, what could we do with that to make that better? Are you about to pop another one?
One more.
All right.
This is 2017, January 2017, so this is just under 8 years old.
These are good. The thing is they're not usually what I'm looking for in a bourbon, flavor profile wise, but I think a lot of people would absolutely love them. I really want other people's opinions because that's good bourbon. It's not the profile I'm typically looking for, but there's absolutely nothing bad about it, and somebody might absolutely love it.
What are we trying to get to?
Right now we're just tasting barrels to see what we are working with.
The goal with these barrels was to do a blend a quarter. And maybe not just these blends, but we want to do our own blend every quarter next year. And we're trying to figure out what we have here so that we can figure out what those blends should look like. Like, how do we take what we've got? And some of these are pretty good. Some of these are okay. Some of these are awful. And how do we get to something really good with them? Like, what do we need to bring in? What do we need to finish them in? What does that look like for 4 more blends out of these? So the next blend we want to do is Q1, right? So a Q1 blend is going to be, I guess, a spring blend, right? Toward the end of.
So explain that to me. What do you want it to be?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. So I want to do a winter blend. I want that for Q4 next year. I want that to be more like a cigar blend, maybe get in some cognac or Magnac, do some finishes with some of these. I think some of these barrels that have those dark fruits along with that cognac or Magnac can make a really, really nice higher proof cigar blend. I guess Q2 would be summer. You would kind of want that to be a summer. Q3 you would want to be a fall blend. So Q1 being kind of spring. So spring would be what? Lighter flavors. Take the proof down a little bit. Summer definitely would be a lower proof blend. I don't know. I don't have a great idea for what a spring blend would be, but I want it to kind of fit the season, right? So maybe find some of these that are a little lighter, maybe a little more floral is what we want to go for on this one. I definitely think we need to do a nice double oaked. Maybe we do a few double oaked experiments with some of the lesser than barrels, some of the dusty stuff to see if we can bring that out. Take some of the stuff we found, see if we can't get more vanilla notes on a double oaked with them, and then get some Armagnac cognac finishes going. But then the spring blend, I don't know, I probably need to put a little thought into that. But we've got a general idea of what we have here. All right, we're not gonna tell you all the plans, but we've set a few plans in motion. Now we're gonna walk through John Emerald here, take a look at their distillation equipment. They're set up. We're gonna head over to Red Clay. We're gonna see what they're doing with our barrel-aged beers. So y'all are making your own, here in Alabama, to sell beer in your tap room, you have to make it.
Yep.
So you've got a little brewing set up back here.
Yep. So here is the
chocolate barley.
chocolate sour.
All right, chocolate sour. I'm not a sour guy, not a chocolate beer guy,
Nope.
so it's risky. That's different. What does that taste like? That reminds me of something. I'm having a hard time putting a finger on it. It's better than I anticipated it would be. What's this one?
Is that the chocolate or
This is the second one.
the second
That's
one?
amber.
Okay. So yeah, that's an amber ale.
Oh, I'm a big fan of ambers, so. Oh, that smells great.
This amber's good.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fantastic.
Like fruity.
In a keg, man, with a little, I mean, obviously it's a little flat coming out of that, right?
Sure,
But
that's fermented. We
wow,
still
that's
gotta
good.
cool it down. We gotta carbonate it. So this is raw.
Of course, we've got his distillation set up over here. Pretty much everything happens in this one space here. Bottling going on over here. Looks like they're bottling vodka. Got his pot still set up there. Mash cooker over in the corner. All right, all of our blending, our distillery work is done for the day. Let's see what's going on with our barrels of beer over here, and if they've got those kegged up for our festival. All right, so if you haven't been watching along, we've posted some videos of this. We did 6 barrels. We've got 5 good ones. One went a little awry. We're gonna start with the Scotch Ale in a bourbon barrel. That's gonna be the first one we're gonna pull a sample of here. J-Rock, what do you think about bourbon barrel aged beer?
Some of them are really good.
Okay.
I haven't done a lot of them, but the ones I've had have been pretty good.
All right, this is the last review date. Last day, this beer is going to be in that barrel. Smells fantastic. The Scotch Ale here is my favorite beer here as well. It's actually gotten better since the last time I tried it. It had developed a lot of harshness. I was like, the barrel char is getting bad on it. It's starting to round out nice and soft. Dude, that's gotten better. It needs longer. It should be in there another 3 or 4 months. It's not going to be, but that's got better.
That's good beer.
Yeah. So the next one is a rye IPA in a rye whiskey barrel.
Now, I'm a little hesitant on this. IPAs are not my jam.
Okay, well, we are about to get, I want an unfiltered review. No BS. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't lie. Just because you're on camera, I don't want to hear good things. If it's bad, it's bad. Because I don't like IPAs either, except for this one.
Okay, that's not bad. Honestly, I get like some pear juice influence on that. Like some pear fruit flavors.
That's a great tasting note on that. Instead of all the hoppiness, it's almost like pear.
Yeah.
It is, and it's really cut down on the bitterness that I normally get from an IPA.
This one needs to be bottled. I think there's a few of these that need to be bottled. So far, so good. I think that IPA is probably about ready, but I wouldn't mind seeing it go a full year. I really would, just see what it would do. Because I think it's getting sweeter. And honestly, you might not want more sweetness on that though. Like, it's really good where it's at. But that one is almost a year, 11/16/23. That went into the barrel there. So I think that Scotch Ale needs, we need a full year on that one. That needs to be in there a full year. This one, I don't know, 9 months is probably about right on that one.
Which rye barrel is that?
This is OZ Tyler. That's J-Rock Rye.
That's J-Rock's
I think J-Rock Rye, yeah. That's the J-Rock Rye barrel, I think. I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. So the next one is the ESB, I believe.
That's ESB.
Yeah.
So tell me what that means.
Extra special bitter, so it's
Oh.
English beer.
This one's fun. I like it. It's not as exceptional in the barrel as the rest of them to me.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't have that over-the-top defining, like if you handed this to me, I'm not sure I would say it was aged in a barrel.
English bitters are traditionally aged in barrels.
Right.
So that's, to me, that's a really fun beer. Going from the other beers to this, your palate's probably blown up a little bit. So you're
Well, and we drank a lot of whiskey too, so that hasn't helped us. Yeah. Next, but not last, cherry cider. This is one of the biggest surprises. This was out of this world good last time we tried it. That was a couple of months ago at least. Let's see how she looks.
That's fantastic.
That's exceptional.
That is the most special.
It is exceptional.
Yeah, that cherry really comes through. It's not overbearing though. It's not overpowering. It doesn't blast your palate with just syrupy.
That's got so much better too. It just keeps getting better. I think the Scotch Ale is starting to get where I thought it would be. For a while there, it was, I was very disappointed in it. It was good, but it wasn't exceptional. It got harshness. It's just starting to get to where I thought it would be. I think it needs a full year. The rye IPA is getting really good. I think it's probably about right. The ESB, just not excited about that one as much. It's a fine beer. I'm just not, like, I don't drink ESBs. The cherry cider is the highlight, like, of exceptionalness. And this next one was really good last time we tried it. And if it has got as much better, like, honestly, I feel like all of these have gotten a lot better in the last 2 months. If this one's gotten equally better, this could be the highlight as well. This next one is a Scotch Ale in a short barrel toasted barrel. The first couple of months, it was the worst one. It was harsh and bitter and awful. And man, after about 6 months, it just turned to just sweet deliciousness. It tasted a lot like, after like 6, 7 months, it tasted a lot like a Goose Island, but not near as heavy and thick and sweet. So similar flavor profile, not near as sweet. So much more approachable than those Goose Islands. I love those Goose Islands, I can't drink a lot of them. They're just too heavy.
You know, being the Jim Beam, I expected to pick up some of that nuttiness from that. And I don't get that. I actually get some fruitiness in this.
Yeah.
Which surprises me.
I think it could be because it's scraped down. Like that had to be a dry barrel if they're going to scrape it. I get a lot of those kind of same notes I get on the Goose Islands. That syrupy, thick sweetness, but it is much less sweet, much more tamed down, much more approachable. I don't think that one's gotten considerably better than the last time I tried it, but it was really good last time I tried it, so it didn't need to.
On that third sip, I really start getting that marshmallow campfire.
Yeah.
It's
right.
very, very subtle to me, but I get what you're saying now. That first sip was fruity. The second one, some of that sugar started coming through. Now I'm getting that marshmallow that you're talking about. Yeah.
Honestly, I think that one could have came out a little sooner. I think we could have pulled that one earlier. But you never know. Like, honestly, leave it another 2 months. It might get even better. Like this one. We thought every one of these we've talked about every time we've tried them. We're like, we probably should pull it. And they just keep getting better.
This is a little bitterness to that.
It does have, that's why I'm saying it didn't have that last time we tried it 2 months ago. That one might just need 6 months in the barrel and be done with it. But also, that one had that harshness 2 months ago and now it doesn't. So it might just need longer. It's sour. Smells awful, something floating in it. Yeah, let's drink it. Better than I thought it'd be. I didn't say it was good. I said it was better than I thought it'd be.
Actually, to tell you the truth, from a stout, like usually stouts don't sour very well.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
It's really not. Like I said, the first sip was tough. The second one got better.
Like just like a chocolate tart, you know, like
Okay.
if I were to get a chocolate bar and had like raspberries in it or something fruited chocolate bar, that's what it tastes like.
That's exactly what it smells like, though.
Like,
Like,
it doesn't-
like a raspberry chocolate bar.
The further you get into it, the better it gets.
It's not bad. I don't love it.
No,
But when you say it's raspberry chocolate, it's like, okay, like that's somebody might actually enjoy that.
When you told me it went sour, I was expecting it to be real bad. My first sip was not great. The further I get into it, the better it gets.
Well, I mean, but it's been in a barrel for 10 months.
yeah.
So that's helped it a lot. Like it was not great first few months. The rest of these were good beers to start with. That one soured real quick once it was in the barrel. Anybody ever sold a stout sour?
I'm sure there's been one pushed on the market before. Typically, stouts that go sour are not very good. There's somebody out there who would drink that. I mean, there are people who drink fermented fish.
I wouldn't dump that saying it's a lost cause. That's somebody would like you said, somebody would like this.
Keg it up if you want. Put it on display as the accidental sour. All right, so we've got our whiskey blend laid down. We've got a week and a half, a little over a week and a half until this festival. That's got to be bottled up, labeled. Lots of work left to do to get all of that done. Fortunately and unfortunately, these are going to be kegged up this week, so they'll be ready for the festival as well. It is time for us to get back to work. We got a lot to get done in the next week and a half. But the blend is really good. We'll try it again next week. We'll see how it is. This video will probably come out after the festival, and so y'all will be seeing this well after, but this is just a little glimpse into what's going into just getting the alcohol ready for this festival. I don't even want to talk about the 1,000 other things we've got to do and the mountains and mountains of crap that are piling up at my house that we need to pull this off. So I appreciate y'all watching all the way to the end. We'll see y'all in the next one. Hey B-Team, are you ready to look fresh for family get-togethers this holiday season? Do you want your friends and family to know you have a selection, not a collection? You know Uncle Ted watches the channel as well. Instead of listening to all those rehashed stories from high school, you can actually talk about bourbon. If you want to rep the Brewzle community, then listen up. We're gonna change how we're doing merch just a little bit. The Brewzle team is dropping a massive amount of all new merch to keep our Brewzle community looking their absolute best. We're releasing 5 new t-shirt designs, hats, leather coasters, koozies, and a members only kit from Aged in Ore. Now, whether you're looking for some new gear promoting your love of bourbon or a gift for a bourbon lover in your life, then be ready when we launch on October 19th. Be sure to grab some new Brewzle gear on launch day because every one of these is in limited supply.